Policies make use of three types of variables in workflows. Each policy may use three types of information. Variables are used to capture information about the interaction session initiated by the user, capture information about input parameters, and capture information about persistent state information. The mechanisms to acquire these information sources are quite different. Session variables capture information about the interactive session. This includes information about who is accessing the system, which data grid they are coming from, and information that may be needed at a policy enforcement point. Different sets of session information are captured depending upon the action requested by the user. An example is session information needed for uploading a file, the file location on the laptop, versus information about changing a user access permission, the user identity. All session variables are fixed and start with the $sign. Input variables are used to initialize workflow variables. The workflow variables may be manipulated by arithmetic functions or string manipulation functions, or may be used by microservices. Each input or workflow variable is assigned a name that starts with an asterisk. Persistent state information has to be retrieved from the metadata catalog through a query. The retrieved state information is used to set workflow variables that can then be manipulated. Since the query results come back in a data structure, an operation is required to copy the persistent state information from the structure into a workflow variable. This can be done with a dot operator. Session variables are set each time an action is initiated by a client, whether it is a web browser or web service or Unix shell command or Java library, etc. The session variables that are defined depend upon the type of action that is requested by the client. Information about the user and client is always set in session variables. Information about a data object is set for object manipulation. Information about a data object is also set for object creation. Information about storage resources is set for resource manipulation. Information about collections is set for collection manipulation. Administrative information about users is set for user manipulation. Administrative information about users is also set for user creation. Additional information about session variables is available in chapters 5.6 and 5.7 of the iRODS primer book. Two important session variables about the client session are always set. $ROD zone client always defines the name of the data grid or zone that the user is accessing. $username client always defines the name of the user who is running the client. This name is authenticated by the data grid. When a client connects, the information about the desired data grid is automatically supplied through an iRODS environment.json file that each person maintains in a .iRODS directory on their laptop home directory. The .iRODS directory provides a default location that is accessed by iRODS clients to get environmental information. To switch to another data grid, the iRODS environment.json file is changed to reference the name for the new data grid. The iRODS environment file contains information about the user and the data grid. The environment file is a text file written in the JSON format. An example is shown here. iRODS CWD is the current working directory. iRODS default resource is the location where the files will be written. iRODS home is the name of the home collection that will be accessed. iRODS host is the address of a server in the data grid. iRODS port is the port number used to access the metadata catalog. iRODS username is the name of the user accessing the system. iRODS zone name is the name of the data grid zone. The information in the environment file can be changed to reference another data grid. Some clients ask for this information directly instead of reading the information from the iRODS environment.json file. A standard use of the session variables is to identify your home collection name for use in a rule. The example shown here shows how to use the zone and user session variables to create a logical path name to a collection in the data grid. Each logical path name to a file in your collection starts with the data grid zone name, then the word home, and then your account name. We can automatically fill in this information using session variables. The example creates a workflow variable called starPath, which holds the name of a collection we will use to store output from exercises and homework assignments. The logical path name is written to the screen. The rule is available in LifeLab Zone, Home, RWMore, Rules, test-writepath.r. Take 7 minutes and answer exercise 19. Write a rule that prints out session variables. Use a text editor such as VI or Nano on a Mac. Modify the Hello World example. Watch out for straight quotes. Print your username and print the data grid zone name using session variables. Load the rule into your lifetime library collection. You may want to use a subcollection for rules. Please load a paragraph describing what you did into the lifetime library in the subcollection class INLS 624 by the end of today's class.